3 Humboldt County residents arrested for holding a candlelight vigil outside the Humboldt County courthouse have been acquitted by a jury of their peers. They were arrested March 30th of this year for holding the vigil in protest of the urgency ordinance that had been enacted 3 days earlier. After 6 days of deliberation, a Humboldt County jury found 3 defendants not guilty of violating the urgency ordinance, specifically the 9:30 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew. District Attorney Paul Gallegos explains.
In essence, the burden of proof is on the prosecution always. We have to prove someone guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Any doubt goes in favor of the defendant or the accused. In this case, the question that was presented to the jury was if they were in violation, were they in violation due to a mistake of fact? Did they believe that the ordinance was non-constitutional, unlawful? And if they did, is that a defense? So as I understand it, I did not try the case. It was tried by Deputy Jackie Pizzo. What the jury concluded was, since they may have been acting believing that the emergency ordinance was unconstitutional, then that is, it created doubt for them, so they came back with a verdict of not guilty.
The 3 defendants, Peter Camacho, Kimberly Starr, and Amanda Tierney, say they firmly believe the Humboldt County urgency ordinance violates the Constitution. The 3 defendants were arrested on March 30th while participating in a candlelight vigil, which occurred during the curfew hours after 9:30 p.m. in front of the Humboldt County Courthouse in Eureka. Camacho explains his conversation with a juror after their acquittal verdict.
She was essentially telling me that she felt as though a not guilty verdict was correct in that she thought that we had the right to be there. And she also believed that we thought that we had the right to be there. And that was the basis for at least her, not guilty verdict.
Amanda Tierney defended herself as she explains the trial and the initial demur challenge.
We had 2 people representing themselves as well as a lawyer who put a lot of hours into writing a demur that challenged the ordinance on its face. When that was ruled against, then we just moved into the trial portion of it, people testifying that they felt that their First Amendment rights gave them the right to be at the courthouse.
The 3 defendants assert that the unanimous verdict from the jury reinforces the popular sentiment that the curfew is an unlawful abridgment of the people's right to assemble and speak. Tierney says other jurors reinforced that fact.
I spoke with a couple of the jurors after the fact, and something that really stuck with me was that they believed that we did violate the ordinance, but they felt it was more important that the Constitution of the United States supersedes any small-time county ordinance a county can pass. So that was really the message I took home, is that they knew that we violated the ordinance, but believed that the Constitution superseded that.
The defendants reportedly showed a video during their trial. The video was filmed during the candlelight vigil the night of their arrest. Kimberly Starr, one of the defendants, describes the video and her interaction with law enforcement that evening.
I think I asked the deputy, aren't you supposed to uphold the Constitution? And he said, no, not tonight. I'm enforcing this ordinance. And the jury heard that, and the 1 or 2 with whom we spoke after the trial brought that up among other things. But it was very clear that we were aware of the First Amendment, and that we were asserting our First Amendment rights by being on the courthouse steps in that candlelight vigil. So while the district attorney's office was attempting to just make it real simple and also discount our or discredit our understanding of the Constitution, she'd ask us questions like, were we experts and all these things? And, all of us don't have to be experts to assert our constitutional rights. That's not why the Constitution is there, just for experts or specialists. It's for common people.
Next, I spoke with Humboldt County District Attorney about the future implications of this recent acquittal. The defendants say that they'll be out in front of the courthouse again for a candlelight vigil tonight and in the future. Do you feel as though this recent verdict would prevent you from trying the same case again, or how do you feel like this will affect future arrests and prosecutions?
I don't, and I don't think that they would get that same instruction. They're no longer under mistake of fact. So I think what happens is they will be arrested, they will be prosecuted, and we will go through the process again. And, if they think the law is not lawful, they should wait and find out what the federal court decides on the lawsuit currently challenging the legality of the ordinance.
As the District Attorney of Humboldt County, Paul Gallegos, says this case was an important look at both the First Amendment and its interaction with society.
In a way, it's a very important case for both my office to try and for us to pay attention to, because, most, if not all of us, agree that murder is wrong, and child molest and most of the things we prosecute. This case and cases like that really are a question as to some fundamental things about the American system of government. The First Amendment, the state's right to put reasonable restrictions on those, people's rights to protest those decisions that they think are wrong, and what's the consequence?
You just heard from Humboldt County District Attorney Paul Gallegos, as well as the three defendants, Peter Camacho, Amanda Tierney, and Kimberly Starr, who were recently acquitted for their candlelight vigil in front of the Humboldt County Courthouse in Eureka.